Hello professionals. Some days back we had covered a model called UDARI model so as to ensure training effectiveness. And what we have realized after implementing UDARI model with several organizations, that the performance improves but sometimes it does not become sustainable. And this challenge of sustainable we had to address somehow. And when we went deeper with the organization, we realized that they don't have a robust execution system in place so as to ensure that UDARI will be able to go and work on that. And so as to make this very sustainable, we thought that we need to have execution system in place. And ideally, this execution system should be in place before a training project is taken up, so that as soon as the UDARI model covers the whole training execution cycle, the execution system should ensure that the implementation is an ongoing process. Friends, keeping this in mind, we have over a period of time created out a scientific process, and this is called DIME. I will share with you the details of DIME, how it could be implemented by the organization so that execution system could become a culture with the organization. D stands for designing and deploying business enabler progress card, which essentially means that we need to look at what are the business enablers, what are the business drivers, what are the levers to various KRAs which are being taken up. The KRA could be sales, it could be revenue, it could be realization, it could be collection, and whatever is this KRA, we need to go deeper and see what are the levers, what are the enablers which have direct impact on these KRAs. And we need to find out KPIs for these enablers. We need to look at the measurements, we need to look at the data source, and based on that we need to make sure that we are tracking these business enablers. There is a system to capture this data and report this data on a weekly or a monthly or a fortnightly basis, so that the whole organization can monitor, are we progressing on these business enablers or not. If we are not progressing on business enablers, there is very low chance that it will have impact on the KRAs. And this is what we call a business enabler progress card. Once this is in shape, the second very important thing is implementing performance rigor system, which means there has to be a rigorous measurement and the system of reviewing all this data. And this review must start at the leadership level. Though the data is getting captured at the frontline level because the whole action with the customer happens there, but the ownership of this data has to be primarily first with the top leadership, which means the head sales and marketing, a national sales head, the zonal managers need to own progress on these enablers, and they need to have very rigorous reviews on this. And once this type of a culture sets in, the messages start going down at every level, at a regional manager level, as an area sales manager level, at a sales executive level. And after some time, the frontline team also gets the message that it's very important to progress on these enablers. And the area sales manager or whosoever is the frontline supervisor, make sure that these people achieve those goals on business enablers. And friends, once this is happening, along with that, very important to motivate and engage the sales team. The sales team must feel owning all these business enablers, and therefore the senior leadership must have policies to celebrate, to reward, to recognize the progress on these enablers independent of the KRAs. Sometimes it may happen that the KRA is not showing, but the business enablers are showing progress, which is a sure sign that after a little gap, it will also show its impact on the KRA. And therefore, the senior team must have lot of occasions where the sales team in the front line and the supervisors must feel elated, must feel happy that they are progressing on these enablers and they are being valued by the organization. The last E is for engaging with the senior leadership team, enhancing their competencies, because a leader at the top overall manages the life of so many people with him, and therefore he needs to be a theory Y manager. He needs to manage people in such a way that he takes into account readiness and developmental level of each of his executives, and accordingly adapt a style. And keeping these in mind, the company must invest in enhancing competencies of these senior leaders. Friend, this is what the total DIME model. And as we have saying that this is not a one-time event. This is something which should become a culture within the organization. The organization must see that they have to make a robust system of execution. Once this is in place, and when you execute a training project through UDARI model, immediately after the UDARI project is over, the senior leadership takes over, and there is a system to ensure that it has its impact on business enablers and thereby on the KRAs. Friends, you have any questions on any of these things, we are giving our details below. You may contact us on that. Thank you. Goodbye.